about to join Don Neuen, co-host of Cowboy Logic Radio, and Denise Simon, host of the Denise Simon Experience, for a weekly situation report, or SITREP. 18 hours a day, Denise Simon lives her life as an Intel Analyst. 18 hours a day, Don Neuen lives his life in the world of rock and roll. 1 hour each day, Neuen receives a daily SITREP from Simon. Welcome to the Drive Time Situation Report. Fasten your seatbelt. You're now in Don Neuen's car, and he is calling in for his SITREP.
Smello.
What's up, Denise Simon?
Hello, Mr. Don.
How are you? How are you? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Easter worshiper to you.
Yeah, that's right.
And a happy belated birthday. Now, I called you on your birthday last week.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
But we weren't doing a drive time sit rep, so all of our beloved listeners could not participate in the birthday wishes for one Denise Simon.
That's okay.
So we're going to do it again right now. So happy birthday, Denise Simon.
Thank you. Thank you. When you get to be my age, you just don't care anymore.
Hey, you know, when I turned 30, seriously, I'm not joking around about this. After I turned 30, I had to start counting, like subtracting the year I was born from the current day to actually remember how old I was.
Well, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because I think, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I was kind of like you. I was already saying I was a year older than I really was. My husband's like, "Why do you keep saying that?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're not that old yet." Oh, really?
Exactly. Or I'm a year too young. Or I mean, I was born in 61, so I've had my 2019 birthday, so that makes me 58, right?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. All right, so I'm there. But having said that, I'm still younger than you are. So happy birthday, Denise. Happy birthday, my senior.
Everybody's younger than me.
Well, not everybody. Trump isn't.
Oh, well, listen, poor man. Somebody needs to get a hold of him fashion-wise. He just didn't look quite right today. I don't think it was really a tux. It was more of a tux/tails, and he didn't have the button right on the vest. And he looked silly.
I happen to like his haircut from this past weekend. I like that. Or not haircut, but hair, whatever it was. I liked it. I actually, and Donna disagreed with me. I thought it took 10 years off of him.
Oh, I wasn't paying too much attention to that. That was just because he had taken off his golf hat. It wasn't a permanent thing.
Well, I kind of thought I approved of it. All right. Well, at any rate, I'm not a hair guy here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to tonight's Drive Time Situation Report, where we're not going to continue talking about Donald Trump's hair. On one end of this conversation, you've got the fabulous Denise Simon, who just celebrated her 39th birthday.
Yes.
For like 20 times or something like that. Now, on the other end of the conversation is me, who celebrates my birthday in February. All right? Now, what's so unique about this show? If you're a first-time listener, you've got to be thinking to yourself, what the hell have I tuned into? This is a conversation that
enter at your own risk.
Yeah, exactly. This is a conversation, or as Denise Simon sometimes says, a confab between Denise and myself. I am driving in my car. I'm headed home from work. Hey, last week, if you didn't catch the show, I was in a rock and roll bus coming back from Texas.
Yes,
and I kept dropping out a whole lot because we went through like Louisiana. I think we were in Louisiana when we were talking, Denise, but I kept losing signal on you. Shouldn't happen tonight unless something happens odd on the way home from Atlanta. At any rate, I call into Denise. I've been working all day doing rock and roll bus stuff that I do so I can pay the bills. And Denise brings me up to speed makes me appear to be more intelligent than I am, and basically does all my work for me. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. The nice thing about this radio show is you can benefit indirectly and even sometimes directly from Denise Simon's generosity. And we're just about to find out exactly how. So Denise timestamped the show, and the reason that we do this, ladies and gentlemen, is so that you know it's a permanent record of how far ahead of the curve Denise Simon actually is. So here we go. Timestamp away, Denise.
Oh,
and Merry
timestamp.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It's 8:57 p.m. Eastern, and we're already into the 3rd day of June in the year of our Lord 2019.
That was so well done, Denise. So
Thank
well
you.
done. Do you remember when you struggled doing that?
No.
I do. Because
Okay.
I had that. Because the big thing was I wanted you to keep saying in the year of our Lord.
Oh.
And it took you a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden it became, second nature to you.
Don't remember
And
that,
you-
but all right.
And now you do it so eloquently.
Cool. Thank you.
Say the year one more time, just for the hell of it.
The year of our Lord 2019.
See how good that is, ladies and gentlemen? See how that rolls off her tongue?
It rolls.
It certainly does. All right, Denise. I have been slammed. It's a Monday, so it's a really hectic day for me. What happened in the world that I missed today?
Well, it looks like the state dinner where Donald Trump wore his tails went quite well. And I'm happy for that. Because if we remember when Obama did the state dinner and the Queen did a toast to him, he immediately took a sip of his drink. And
Right.
she looked at him like he was some kind of a nutcase. Well,
Most of us did.
well, yeah,
Right.
but she did it, and it was it was quite the moment.
Right.
But Trump didn't appear to make any kind of blunders that I saw, so I was very happy with that. Although he was Twitter happy, trigger happy, Twitter happy, going over to Britain because, he went after Jeremy Corbyn, he went after Mayor Khan. He got quite testy. But I didn't think all of that was necessarily called for. But then again, they didn't ask me.
Hey,
I
that's
will
what
tell you.
happens. Look. This is what you get when you elect a New Yorker that's a true New Yorker. Okay, this is what you get. You get a lot of good things, and you get a lot of crap like that. And
Well,
the thing is, look what's going on domestically, especially in the halls of Congress. I would wake up on a little bit of the pissy side of the bed myself. And I would take that out on anybody.
There's a certain amount of esprit de corps that is required in the job, and I haven't.
I
quite,
get it.
I
get
haven't
that. I get
quite
that.
seen it yet.
We didn't elect that.
It doesn't matter. There's just a certain amount of esprit de corps that people should have, and
yeah. I do agree with you, but I also give Trump a pass on most of this kind of behavior for two reasons. Number one, Trump is Trump. Let him be Trump. Number two, I know you don't like that. Number two, look at the crap that he's been putting up with. You're starting to dig deep into it. You know that I've been doing it. He's got all the reason in the world to be one pissed off SOB. And when you combine that justification with Trump is Trump, that's what you're going to get. And I know that you don't like that.
I just believe here's my thing. If you show your anger or you show your disgust or you show your emotions, then you know that people have gotten to you. Okay. I think the sense of showing indifference is actually worse. I think that tells a bigger story. But
well, and I agree with you with everybody on the planet but Trump.
Okay.
Trump is just being Trump. And I guarantee you he was behaving the exact same way before he got elected president. I don't think this guy has changed one bit. I think this is who we elected. We got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes his tweets where people that, like you and me, that might restrain ourselves, and quite frankly, I don't know if I can accurately say I would under the kind of crap that he's been put under. But I think that, what you're seeing is just the real deal. And if somebody pisses him off, if he does something, or if somebody says something that he disagrees with, he's going to say things that the rest of us would say around our dinner table. He's just going to do it on the world stage. And I don't think there's anybody that's going to change Trump. I think he's going to do exactly what he's doing now. And if he gets reelected, we're going to have 4 more years of it. But man, do I pray he gets reelected. I can put up, Donna and I have this conversation a lot. I can put up with stupid tweets, unstatesmanlike behavior, as long as this guy truly believes and puts America first and does what he can do to rebuild and restore from the absolute destruction that took place during the Obama years. So there you go. Now that I've jumped off my little soapbox, talk to me.
Well, I will say that from what I could tell, his day today with the family, the entourage, I think went off really without a hitch. All the other nonsense aside, I will tell you that the Queen's toast was very nice. I don't know who wrote the one for Trump, but I found that it was very good. The room was magnificent. So I was very pleased with what I saw. I was waiting for something like ridiculous to happen, because something always does.
Trump to ask the Queen to pull his finger or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But
hey, but you would have probably laughed at the same time while you were rolling your eyes, going, "Oh my God!" You would have laughed. You would have laughed if he would have done that.
No, I don't think I would have laughed.
I bet Reed and Andy would have laughed.
That's possible, but I wouldn't have laughed.
I'd have laughed for you. Okay, so what else happened over there? I mean, clearly, whatever his name is, Mayor Khan, definitely has a backyard that he needs to get clean.
Well, pretty much everybody in London can't stand him. So, I mean, we know that how he got elected to start with. And, poor Britain. I mean, I feel sorry for really everybody that's there that has that's a Brit, that's a true Brit. But anyway, I think I think Trump's got a rather busy day tomorrow. And then, on Wednesday, I think we do begin the ceremonies, which is apparently going to be a big deal. I think it's going to be an all-day deal of D-Day, 75 years.
June 6th. Wonder how many people are going to remember that.
Well, this is significant because these are the kinds of things that are not taught anymore. I mean, they probably haven't been taught in schools at any grade, at any level, for 2 decades. So
that's what I'm saying. I wonder who's gonna remember June 6th and who's not.
Right.
Who's not even aware of it.
That's right.
Do you think that college students that look for safe spaces will know what June 6th means?
No.
I don't think so either.
Not at all.
Think so.
I can't really think of anybody who has been in any kind of school in the last 10 years, maybe even up to 20, that would know D-Day or Normandy or Omaha or any of the rest of it. Yep.
And it's a terribly sad thing. All right, so what else is happening?
Well, we have a very interesting thing, and I haven't seen anybody report on it, so I'm going to. Today, a federal judge in Washington, D.C., has found that the U.S. House of Representatives does not have standing to sue the Trump administration over plans to redirect government funds to pay to build the wall at the border.
I actually saw a headline on that, and I can't tell you who I saw it from, but that's all I saw. So please expand.
U.S. District Judge Trevor McFadden of the District of Columbia, he actually quoted the Federalist Papers, writing that judicial independence requires that courts take no active resolution whatever, quote unquote, in political fights between the other branches of government. So,
bless his heart.
Well, yeah. Now, this one's kind of interesting because we didn't really know that there was a lawsuit sitting out there that the House of Representatives was suing the Trump administration over the wall, did we? We just knew that they didn't like that, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I figured they would have sued. That's
Sure.
all they know how to do.
But it went through, this judge, and he went on to say, quote, "And while the Constitution bestows upon members of the House of Representatives many powers, it does not grant them the standing to hail, H-A-L-E, hail the executive branch into court claiming a dilution of Congress's legislative authority." Now, McFadden, by the way, is a Trump appointee. I had to
Well, good for McFadden.
put that one in there. So, the House actually sued the Trump administration in April, claiming that the president's declaration of a national emergency at the Mexico border didn't justify funneling away funds appropriated to pay for anti-narcotics projects and military construction. So today, McFadden called the issue a closed question and was noted that he was not implying that Congress may never sue the executive branch to protect its powers, but he wrote that a seat in Congress comes with many prerogatives, but legal standing to superintend the execution of law is not among them. Now, this ruling actually comes a week after the federal judge in Oakland issued a preliminary injunction blocking the administration's redirection of funds. So, that's the judge who actually put a stay on the administration until it went through the appeals. So there we go. Now, it's a 24-page decision. I will tell you that I have not had time to read the 24 pages. Not that I could, because the interesting thing is that the House of Representatives lawsuit was versus Steve Mnuchin in his official capacity as the Department of Treasury. So actually, they were suing the Department of Treasury. And this was really kind of interesting because it says in the memorandum opinion, few ideas are more central to the American political tradition than the doctrine of separation of powers. Our founders emerged from the revolution determined to establish a government incapable of repeating the tyranny from which the 13 colonies escaped. That will give you a flavor of his opinion, quoting Federalist 51.
Good for him. Good for him. Hey, by the way, Denise, let me give you a traffic update. I'm on I-20 for the past 3 weeks. When I travel home late at night after work from Atlanta, I hit a section, and you'll remember these exits, Thornton Road all the way to Douglasville, in which they're down to one lane doing construction. Many nights I sit still for much longer than I would like to, but tonight I'm cascading down I-20, an interstate headed west at a whopping 14 miles an hour.
Oh, I remember those days. It was generally on a snowy Friday.
This has been every night. These guys do construction every night on 20 after 7 p.m., which is after I leave. And all I see in front of me are blue flashing lights and red tail lights and a few amber flashing lights. And then those annoying, massive white lights that they used to work under that for some reason they decide to shine into the eyes of oncoming traffic as opposed to down on the ground where they're actually working.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, there's your update, Denise. All right, so that's real good news. What does this mean? Like, put this into a little thumbnail for us. What does it mean now? Does it mean that Trump is going to, basically have free will to assign funds to this? Or
well, we shall see what other.
They're
going to throw sand in the gears again. They're absolutely going to do. I was talking with a former CIA buddy the other day, and we were talking about would
that be one Sam Faddis?
It would.
Okay, good.
I did an interview with him, and then after the interview, he kind of unloaded. He said, I have to tell you something that I necessarily couldn't say on the air. And I said, okay, so he did. Anyway, we were discussing the number of people that are involved, and I think you and I probably discussed this last week, too, in all things Russian collusion and who Bob, I keep saying Bob Barr, Congressman Bob Barr, not him, Bill Barr, AG Bill Barr, is going to be including. And the list just grows and grows and grows. But then we have, after I got off the phone with him, I started thinking about the conversation. And I really thought, I'm of the notion that we only hear about the phone calls or the letters that such and such wrote to the Department of Justice or such and such wrote to, the FBI or some schmuck that's on TV. But would it be possible that the DNC is using media and media is using the DNC to the point where the DNC is actually paying advertising dollars to the networks in order to keep the funds rolling in? Think about that one for a minute.
That's a good question. Now, I did hear through a little bird named Donna Fiducia that there was an article, I want to say in Breitbart today, that discussed Joe Biden and what he might know about all of this business with Russia collusion. Now, I'm not talking about Biden's kid in Ukraine and Biden's kid in China and Biden in China, but I'm talking about the fact that, this whole staging of Russian collusion and pinning it on Trump, those of us that actually think and analyze things clearly know that this was coming from the Obama administration.
Correct.
And quite possibly Obama himself.
Correct.
But now there's evidently a story out, and let me know if I'm on target with this, that's actually pinning Biden to this. So we're now up pretty damn close to Obama. You know what I'm talking about with this Breitbart article?
I do not. I have not read it. But, that has really been out there for probably a couple of weeks now. Originally, Biden was not included. And then they decided, this White House apparently decided that they had to expand the operating cell in the White House. So they later included Biden.
Gotcha. All right. Well, listen, we got to take a break. Let me check the timing real quick. All right, we got about 30 seconds, Denise. Let me talk about your website. The folks can go check this out while we're on break. FoundersCode.com, ladies and gentlemen. Founders with an S at the end of it, code.com. That's Denise's personal website. That's where you can go to find and follow all of her great work. And the beauty of that website, Denise does all the work for you. You don't have to vet anything unless you, for some reason, get into doing that kind of stuff. She does the work for you. Why is that important? Because you can regurgitate it. You can share it. You can like it. You can post it. You can discuss it. And you can do it with 100% confidence that what you're talking about is credible. You're not going to get burned by the Internet Research Agency over there in Russia. You're going to be able to discuss things and know that you have credibility in doing so. So please go check out Denise Simon's website, founderscode.com. We got to take a short break. You're listening to the Drive Time SITREP with the great Denise Simon, and then you got me on the other end of this. My name's Don Neuen. We're going to be right back.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
Welcome back to the Drive Time SITREP, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Neuen, and I am now traveling at a brisk 60 miles an hour. It appears that we have made our way through, yet once again, construction traffic on I-20 headed westbound as I go home. So, Denise, please rejoice with me, and why don't we just say Merry Christmas in lieu of anything else?
Okay, Merry Christmas.
All right, now, for those of you that are wondering why we do that, Denise and I make it a point, or at least I do, and she plays along well, to wish each other Merry Christmas every week on the Drive Time SITREP. And Denise, why do we do that?
Why do we play along?
No. Why do we wish each other Merry Christmas every week of the year on the Drive Time SITREP?
Well, because for so long we were condemned for saying it.
That's right, Denise.
Ding, ding, ding.
So there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're encouraging you, whether you're a Christian, a Jew, or whatever you want to be, or whatever you are, we encourage you to wish everybody you know every day Merry Christmas. And if you don't want to do Merry Christmas, do Happy Hanukkah. But wish them something that has to do with religion that the left doesn't want us ever talking about. Because now we can, and we do. Isn't that right, Denise?
Yes, sir.
That's right. All right, can we stay with this Mueller thing? And
yes.
Okay. I'll let you roll. I'll interrupt when I can.
Well, we have the, I wrote a piece today because it's really kind of interesting what's going on the House side. Nancy Pelosi was in California last week giving some kind of a cockamamie talk before the Commonwealth Club, whatever the heck that is. And then somebody in the media asked her about impeachment, and she rambled on about something else, and then kind of came back to the question. And she said, we investigate, we legislate, but we will only do what we deem will get results. Well, impeachment will not get results. So that was kind of a shot across the bow that we're not going to impeach because you're not going to get results. Not even, I don't even think it would pass the House, to be honest with you. And then another interesting thing is that the third ranking Democrat, Mr. Clyburn from South Carolina, he says that Trump will eventually be impeached, but only if the Democrats in the House fully educate the American people. They have to be fully educated first, and then they're pretty sure that they will have the will and the votes to do so. And this was in a conversation that he had with Jake Tapper at CNN. All right. So he's not too sure either. But then another interesting thing is that Nadler came out, who is head of the House Judiciary, and he also said, interestingly enough, that if the will is not with the American people, then impeachment can't happen. Oh, but wait a minute. We have our ever-loving snot friend, Adam Schiff. And what did he say? Well, he kind of all said the same thing. And that is, we're not ready. So Pelosi's got obviously some pressure, but they're all giving themselves kind of an off-ramp. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah. Do you know what I'm reading in between the lines here with what you're saying about these four people that are saying this? They're not going to impeach him. They're simply going to impeach him in public opinion.
Correct.
That's going to be their attempt.
Correct. Of the court of public opinion.
That's
Now,
correct.
What's going to happen, because we've already been through the talking points, that, that they're going to go through impeachment, but Pelosi is managing this thing and she's essentially saying no. So you got these four people at a minimum that are still kind of sort of talking about impeachment, but they're giving themselves an off-ramp. So if it doesn't happen, they're going to blame the American people. So, in order to, and again, they're not going to impeach, but in order to expand the base for the 2020 general election, they're going to develop all kinds of points to educate us. How are they going to do that? Well, glad you asked. Because under Jerry Nadler's House Judiciary Committee, they're about to hold a series of hearings on the Robert Mueller report. And they're actually going to be calling this lessons of the Robert Mueller report. Lessons from the Mueller report, presidential obstruction and other crimes. The first meeting took place, I think, today. Now, let's go back to Nixon, shall we? Because the former White House counsel who worked for Nixon and supported him until he turned during the whole Watergate thing was John Dean. And I watched an interesting thing probably 2 months ago now, where John Dean and a couple of the other lawyers of fame, going back to the whole Watergate thing, did
you say fame or shame?
Yes.
Okay. Because now they've all been hired, if I'm not mistaken, by like CNN and MSNBC.
Yeah, and they did quite the panel. They did quite the panel for almost 2 hours. And I watched this thing, and it was really, and they kept going back and using some footage and talking about context and who did what and who stepped up and who didn't, blah, 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 blah. So
right.
The House Judiciary, I lied. The first meeting wasn't today. It's next Monday. The first one that they're going to bring in on the lessons learned is John Dean.
Now let's put him into perspective real quick. He is a disgraced lawyer who's been disbarred, correct?
Oh, I don't know if he was disbarred.
I believe he was. But he's disgraced.
Well, he is that. But, you know,
right.
So was Michael Avenatti. So
well,
CNN.
I mean, my point is look at who these people on the left seem to gravitate toward.
Yeah, he was disbarred.
Okay. He's a disgraced, disbarred lawyer. Did he, how much time did he serve?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to really go look up all of this. This is really taking me back. Convicted of obstruction for his role in Watergate cover-up, blah, 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 blah. Don't know how much time he necessarily served.
All right, but once again, the left is relying on testimony in lessons to be learned from Mueller's investigation, Section B or 2, which is clearly nothing more than a playbook for the House Democrats to play around with impeachment of Trump. But who they're calling is a disgraced, disbarred ex-convict, right?
Well, yeah, and
okay.
here, you know, this is what you almost call swampy, because
I call it desperate.
Well, I'm reading a piece from last year, but John Dean was set to testify in opposition of Brett Kavanaugh. Why would that be? Because Brett Kavanaugh was one of the legal minds going back to that time and place.
Correct. But they just can't seem to find anybody that's like walked the straight and narrow that has any credibility.
They don't exist anymore. If you go inside the Beltway, Don, they just don't exist. You have to really get out night vision goggles to find decent people in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the left and the mainstream media doesn't care.
A perfect
example is Avenatti.
Exactly. So this is part of what we have called the impeachment inquiry, if you will. And so this will be, I think, one of the first hearings that will maybe set the table. And I don't think it's necessarily going to go anywhere, but they're just going to kind of set the table on this. And we're just going to have to live with this until 2020.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, they're going to look stupider and stupider with every move they make.
Well, I
know you agree with me. Let me ask you this. With regard to all this impeachment talk and all the sand that's being thrown in the gears that you and I prognosticated dead on balls accurately the day after the 2016 election, with all that going on, what is going to happen, in your opinion, when Barr starts declassifying stuff and all of a sudden the American people realize, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that there has been a coup attempt against a sitting president that didn't do a damn thing wrong? What's going to happen to all of these?
Well, one is that you're not going to find the American people that are going to read this stuff, because they just don't read. They don't read past a headline, period. So you're not going to get strategic, independent, and critical thinking on any of this. But I don't call it really a coup. I know some of the media like to, and then, those that are part of groupthink just kind of take that and keep going. I call it nullifying. I wrote an article, almost a year and a half ago, about the United States and what we were supposed to have as known as the peaceful transfer of power. And we never had that. And nobody is talking about that. And shame on even the Hannitys or the Laura Ingrams, which is...
well, you're not going to get it out of Laura Ingraham.
No, but I would say they were trying to nullify Trump going into the inauguration, and post-inauguration, they're continuing to nullify. I just spoke about the lawsuits, at least one of them. Do you see what I'm saying? So the good that he has done, everything that it's all had to go through judicial scrutiny. So they're trying to nullify virtually every move, including the very first executive order he issued, which they called a Muslim travel ban, which it wasn't.
Right.
But
right.
It was coined that way. So they nullify virtually everything. Not a coup in my world. It's nullification. So we didn't have, and we still don't have, the peaceful transfer of power. So what kind of went unnoticed is this week, yesterday, I think Friday, and then it kind of got more legs today, is the Department of Justice sent a shot across the bow to Google on an antitrust case. Now, antitrust means just that. You can't trust Google with the monopoly that they have, and they squeeze out all competition. Now, what is happening is that since Trump and the day that he was sworn in, and even prior to that, but particularly now, if people use the search engine Google, you're going to get every single twisted anti-Trump story first, regardless of what you put in. He's going to get blamed for it. He's going to get blamed for
Correct.
Amazon. You see what I'm saying? So
Correct.
This is a shot that the Department of Justice is taking because they're squeezing out conservative voices. But Google now, careful, because they're not the only social media slash tech company that's going to come under the antitrust. Because they're going to look at Facebook, Yahoo News, Apple, Amazon, and Twitter. Now, what these companies are doing is they're stopping competition, they're stopping free speech, they're stopping conservatives, and they're virtually lying to us by what search results they give us by omission. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they don't show certain things. I mean, you'd have to go put in the Washington Examiner or the Free Beacon in order to get their site to come up. If you don't, you're going to get Rachel Maddow, or you're going to get Allison Camerata or, Chris Matthews. So I think the Department of Justice will also bring in the Federal Trade Commission. And this will be very significant as we go towards the 2020 election. So you've got these Silicon Valley giants, and you might even have some Democrats that might join in on helping out and pushing the good work that may come from the Department of Justice doing that. Now, this all necessarily started, by the way, poor Jeff Sessions, but it actually started with him because he was meeting with state attorneys general to discuss Google and Facebook suppressing conservative views and voices back when he was the AG. There apparently was enough there to keep those files open, and they ended up on AG Barr's desk. Now, there's an additional caveat to all of this because Google has been facing massive pressures, as has Facebook and Twitter, from Europe. And the European Commission fined Google $1.7 billion for abusive online ad practices and unfair business practices. They got another $5 billion fine. So,
all right, give me an example of some of this unfair business practice and unfair ad placement practice.
Well, if in fact, how many times do you go over? Well, I don't do it, but maybe some of the listeners do. But I mean, if you do a search for something, Google will give you these cockamamie clickbait things over on the side, and those people don't even have the merchandise. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And you'll never see a Chick-fil-A ad over on the right side.
No.
Okay. So
yeah.
There's just for instance. So I believe.
Well, I don't have as big a problem with bogus ads that I do with suppression of speech. I got a major problem with the conservative voice being squelched to the point where it's almost non-existent at times. And anybody that spends any time, I don't spend a whole lot of time on Twitter, but anybody that spends any time on Facebook that's a conservative can easily see what's going on. And I guess, they got a right to do this. We got a right to leave. But,
correct, because free speech is a government issue and not a corporation issue.
That's right. Now, are any of these companies receiving government subsidies or funds?
I have not looked at that, but as I recall, there were some payments going to them for the work that they had to help with, say, the FBI. Do you see what I'm saying? If they had to go back and look at a Twitter feed, and they may have to go pay, lawyers or, resources to go back in files for a criminal case. So there may have been some payments, but I can't speak to if that
but
truly.
More so subsidies.
No.
I don't know if I'd be so quick to say no on that.
Well, there's no reason that Alphabet/Google would ever get a government subsidy.
Yeah, but they might get some big breaks.
Well, that's not a subsidy, but
it all depends on how you look at it. But I know what you're saying. All right, look, we got about 6 minutes here. Hold on, 7 minutes, and we're going to run out of time. Where do you want to go with this?
Well, this one's important because, the shares were down today in the tech sector. This may have some things to do with Android phones. This one could end up being pretty interesting. Again, it comes down to all things in the timing realm. So antitrust, that's a big one.
Gotcha. 10-4, good buddy.
Okay, now let's turn to Iran here real fast, shall we? Because everybody keeps saying we're about to go to war with Iran. Even though we're not going to go to a war with Iran, we're going to go to a war with Iran. Well, Ted Cruz actually issued a statement in response to reports that Iran has exceeded its centrifuge limit set by the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action under John Kerry, Barack Obama. And that the report by the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, confirms that Iran is cheating on the Iran deal. They're secretly storing blueprints for nuclear weapons and refusing to turn over materials related to their nuclear weapons program. And they have pushed the envelope so far in centrifuges that cheating can no longer be denied. So there was more to what Ted Cruz necessarily had to say. But now we have, and I actually got this thing last week, but it was written in a foreign language, a European language that I couldn't even begin to translate. Plus, it was a very long report. But Europe has been warned many times about the Iran deal, and they keep holding firm. But now we have an interesting condition because German intelligence has issued a report, and it comes from the northern state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, whatever that is, and that the Islamic Republic of Iran is involved in the illicit procurement of technologies for weapons of mass destruction. And that was the report that I couldn't read because it was 206 pages long, and then I'd have to translate it. What?
Don't you find it interesting, given the fact that you're spewing forth all of this information and all of these people have all of a sudden become enlightened to what's going on with Iran, when Trump pulled out of the Iran deal, all of these European countries were so quick to chastise him.
Yeah. But the report goes on because when you have now other intelligence agencies, not ours, that are pointing the fingers back to Iran, including the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the Syrian Arab Republic, the Russian Federation, and China. Yeah.
Why is no one saying, hey, Trump, you were right, big guy. We apologize. We screwed up. And now we're going to really make good on this because you and your intelligence, your intel sources were spot on, big guy with the funny looking hair. Why are they not saying that? Why are they not saying Orange Man good and conceding to this?
Well, wait till they catch up to Denise.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that.
But apparently, this report noted
he's such a schmuck for texting against Mayor Khan. I'll tell you what, the UK needs to watch their ass. And I'm not just talking about on July 4th this year. They need to watch their ass because I guarantee you they're going to be drug into this whole Russian collusion thing with steel. I guarantee it, Denise.
Well, that's why, I think you shouldn't be messing with people like Mike Pompeo and John Bolton.
No. These guys have cojones the size of the car I'm driving in. and they know
they do. And, you know, we, not only do you have the Shin Bet, which is the Israeli security agency, but now you've got a Bavarian document, you've got a German document, you've got the U.S., you know, and so this may be the other reason that we are sending some of these assets over to the Middle East that we're sending, because now we need to use some other resources that we have that put us closer to the region to get to some geospatial photography, I would say, communications that include atomic, biological, and chemical weapons of mass destruction.
Yippers.
Anyway.
Yippers. All right, well, we're running out of time. As always, Denise, we could go on with this show for 2 hours if we needed to. But, ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you again, go check out Denise's site. I guarantee it, she's got an article posted. If not about what we were just talking about, she will have it soon. Do you have one up on it already, Denise?
I do.
All right, founderscode.com. Denise, tell the listeners your website, because I'm in a car. Sometimes it can be difficult to hear.
Well, the website is Founders, Founders, code.com. And, you know, I kind of run in spurts here, but I do a lot of study in order to put some things up. So I have to read through an awful lot of stuff. And things
how many times over the past, say, I don't know, 8 years, have you had to retract something or make some kind of a major correction?
Well, I only had to do it one time, and it really wasn't my piece. It came from somebody else, and they had to retract it. So when they retracted it, I had to retract it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's well vetted and worth your time. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Drive Time SITREP. We hope that you'll join us next week. We'll hope that you'll tell your friends and family about it. Denise's show is on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Check that out. It's called The Denise Simon Experience. The show that I do with my beautiful wife, Donna Fiducia, is Cowboy Logic Radio. That's Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. We hope that you'll join us for all of these shows. Whatever station you're listening to the Drive Time SITREP on, we're going to be on that station too, so don't worry about it. Denise, we got to go. Bye-bye. Take us home.
Thanks for being with us. Thanks for listening. God bless America.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.